Roll show.
What we did on Jungle Book is we had people in their traditional ADR recording sessions, and that was great. But what you find is that they just have their script, and they tend to look down at their script and look back up at the monitor and look down at their script. John came up with this concept of having actors actually interact in a volume. So he called it Black Box Theater, which is essentially a big black room with 6 reference cameras, people as invisible as possible so the actors can really feel like they're by themselves and actually engaging. And that way you get winks, looks, distance. You know, we had a hard time in ADR with people not understanding that they need to shout or whisper. It's much easier when you have the people to bounce off of.
Start with complete freedom, and if I need to make adjustments to limit movement or something,
Sure.
we'll figure out what's well, we'll do that as we go on.
I was trying to pursue an approach that made this film feel less like an animated movie, more like a live action film. And not just a live action film, but a live action film in the way that I'm used to photographing it.
Did you hear that? The future kid!
Do it again.
Do it again, yeah. Oh, guys, everybody, whoa, hold on.
I like when there's some naturalism. I like when there's some discovery. I think that spark helps make it feel real.
This feels good. Yeah. This is us.
Yeah, I like this. This is wonderful. Much better.
When we thought, how are we going to approach The Lion King, we knew we needed to do something new, completely new. And we had the idea to do this in virtual reality. Take the tools of virtual reality and apply those to filmmaking in a way that's never been done before. We built a video game, the purpose of which is to make a movie. Inside that video game, instead of cars and guns and points being scored, we've got cameras and lights and lions. So we go inside the volume, which is this technology blank space, this space that's filled with grids that hold virtual reality sensors, things that tell the computers where virtual cameras are in space, or virtual Steadicams, or virtual dollies, or virtual cranes. These all look like and feel like real filmmaking equipment, except there's no camera attached. There's just a sensor that says, hi, I'm a camera, I'm over here, I've got a 50mm lens on, I'm looking downward at 20 degrees, and there's a line. And it's just as if you're playing a video game, except instead of controllers, and we do use controllers at times, we're using tripods, we're using wheels, we're using Steadicams. So we're giving the filmmakers all the analog tools that they're accustomed to. Their instincts are reliable, but the output is all through this real-time game engine.
Yeah, let's just back up the animation. You need to be a hair lower, though. All right? There you go. Let's do it right there.
One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king.
I remember I was in Africa on safari, and when a warthog ran by the safari vehicle, one of the people started singing Hakuna Matata. And then when we saw the lions up on a rock, they all said, oh, look, it looks like Lion King. It's become the frame of reference that everybody knows and accepts. And since I've been involved, I notice how it pops up in comedy routines, in music, on TV shows, as part of sketches. It's constantly being referenced. And so it's such a deep part of our culture.
I knew the film would be successful, but nobody had an idea of how successful this story would be. You get something from it every time.
I actually feel a great bit of responsibility because I just know how much it meant to me. I really know this movie so well. I think me and my brother and sister probably watched it every Saturday for like at least a year.
It's got all this Shakespearean sort of relevance to it. It's got these songs that are so amazingly catchy, but you're not worried about, humming them all day. You kind of enjoy it going round and round in your head. It was a full experience. It was like nothing else, really. And then the musical afterwards, the whole kind of spectacle and sense of it was so full.
I purposely have not gone back to watch the movie. I did go see the Broadway show recently with John. He was in New York and invited me. What was I going to do? Say no?
John was really inspired when he saw the Lion King play. And he saw that these two things that were of the same DNA could live and be seen as different things. And that made him believe that he could see the Lion King made digitally and still honor the animated film.
I just think Circle of Life is the song that really makes the film. It was a mixture of African music and pop music, and that hadn't really happened before.
On the original movie, I always had this idea that wouldn't it be great to start a Disney movie with a voice of Africa? My brief originally was it was supposed to be sort of 30 seconds of music and there was going to be this big dialogue scene. And I had done the whole Elton Circle of Life thing and tried to sort of make it African. And Rob and Roger, the directors, came in, Don Hahn, and I played them the thing. And they had this sort of whispered conversation after hearing it, and I thought, great, I'm fired, because I obviously didn't stick to the brief. And I said, okay, guys, look, I can go and do what you actually asked me to do. And they said, no, we just want to go and redesign the whole opening of the movie. And, it ends with that big drum hitting, boom, It's only now when we were working on it that I figured out why the big drum. Again, it was because they were coming at 6 o'clock and I hadn't finished the arrangement. And I just needed to end it somehow, so I just put this big drum hit in the middle of, nowhere. And it sort of became an iconic part of it.
We have an imminent threat. Something is approaching. Oh, wait, scratch that. That's my own shadow.
John Oliver. He was born to play Zazu.
Scar, no.
Well, I liked Zazu when I was a kid. I've always liked a wisecracking bird. And now I am that wisecracking bird.
I had a cousin who thought he was a woodpecker. He slammed his head into trees, and our beaks aren't built for it. He was concussed regularly. I'm sorry. I got lost in the narrative, sire. Catching up quickly.
Perfect. I think we could move on. You're pretty much nailing it. By the way, gotten compliments on your singing as well from Hans Zimmer.
It's not my first time doing animation, but it's the first time perhaps doing it in this particular way.
As the king's brother, you should have been first in line.
For Lion King, there was an opportunity to breathe something new into it. And so to have Beyonce, that presence in Nala was able to help us expand what that role meant.
Are you with me, lions?
The movie has an incredible spirit. It opens you up. It talks about the struggle of standing up and fighting for what you love. It's very real. Because the women are, we're the fighters.
We have ALFRE Woodard playing Sarabi. She really brings a wonderful texture. Her voice has a wonderful texture.
It's over, Scar. Don't you see that?
Suffering for what? The memory of a life you once knew, a king you once loved?
Still love.
You're adding such dimension to this. Thank you so much. Sarabi's one of the roles where we found that there was room to add more to. The original was definitely weighted more towards the male roles, and certainly in the culture of a lion's pride, the female lions play a very important role.
We must all stay together and protect the Pride Lands.
Having such a wonderful actor as ALFRE Woodard, who brought gravitas, the feeling of her being royalty and being the queen and being Mufasa's counterpart.
A true king's power is his compassion.
The original film, nobody knew was coming. It wasn't a high-profile project at the time. And the first trailer Disney put out, there was a title card that said that Disney's next movie is going to be The Lion King. Here's the opening song.
The very first trailer of The Lion King was just Circle of Life played straight through. Partly because it's all we had finished in animation and we had to have something to put in the movie theaters. But the surprise to us was how emotional people got about it.
I remember going to see Beauty and the Beast. My parents took me and my sister before they showed the Lion King trailer. And it was like one of the most pivotal moments in my life. Like, honestly, because it was no words, just music, and you're seeing all this stuff. You didn't know anybody, you didn't know any of these characters, and then that Lion King at the end, people were just gasping in the theater. It was really great.
I didn't know if all the songs from the original were going to be in this, but then they told me that they were, and I was like,
I can't sing, but I try really hard, and I have a lot of hours to dedicate to this, so I'll just do my best. This is already the most embarrassing experience. I want them to count how many times I've tried to record that one line, "It ain't no passing craze," because I bet it's in the thousands. Ain't no passing craze. It ain't no passing parade. Craze. We should get to Donald's part at some point.
I just like listening and.
It was just really fun. Pretty much just us cracking jokes on each other and looking at each other. We're all like in a triangle, you know, sitting there. So like we're all in the room just looking, and there's cameras and stuff like that. So like any mess ups were just met with laughter.
I thought that was pretty good. I clicked into place. It was one of those things that clicked in.
Simba? Is that really you?
Yeah, it's me, Simba.
I never hesitated for a moment. I guess the only thing really scary is singing with Beyonce.
Can you feel the light?
That's the only part where I'm like, y'all sure y'all want me to do this?
The peace the evening brings.
I am still in shock that I'm a part of this because I grew up loving The Lion King. It's the first Disney movie that brought me to tears.
When you think of somebody who you'd be excited to hear reinterpret this role, especially the musical performances, she's sort of in a class all by herself. Having Beyonce in my film definitely brought me a lot of credibility with my kids and their friends.
The king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun. Simba, one day the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king. It is time.
What are you waiting for? Let's go home.
Hey guys, it's Lisa with more on The Lion King. Now, the name of the movie seems pretty straightforward, right? But did you know that its original title was actually King of the Jungle? Marketing materials and merchandise had even been made before the studio realised, lions don't live in the jungle. Click here below to subscribe, and remember to also tap the bell to always receive our videos in your feed.